The photographer positioned my sisters like precious dolls on the marble staircase of our family estate. Vanessa sat on the third step, her designer dress cascading perfectly. Miranda stood behind her, one hand resting elegantly on the banister. Even my younger brother James got his spot, leaning casually against the carved wood pillar Mom had imported from France. Perfect, Mom breathed, scrolling through her phone to review the test shots. This is exactly what I need for Instagram. The Haverford family Christmas portrait. Elegant, sophisticated, aspirational. I stood off to the side, still in the jeans and sweater I'd worn for the 3-hour drive from the city. My suitcase sat abandoned by the front door where I'd dropped it 20 minutes ago. Maya, sweetheart, Mom said without looking up from her screen, you can wait in the kitchen. We're doing the formal portraits now, the ones for social media. We need a certain image. I drove 3 hours to be here for Christmas photos, I said quietly. And you're here, Vanessa chimed in, adjusting her hair. Just not in the photos. Mom's grown her Instagram following to 50,000. She can't post pictures that don't match her aesthetic. Miranda nodded sympathetically, but her expression said it all. You understand, right? You don't fit. I didn't fit. At 28, I was the only Haverford child without a trust fund lifestyle to showcase. Vanessa ran a luxury lifestyle blog. Miranda married into old money, and James was in his second year at Yale. They had the right look, the right clothes, the right social media presence. I had a 12-hour work schedule, paint under my fingernails, and absolutely no interest in performing for Instagram likes. It's just social media posts, Dad added from his position beside Mom. The professional ones. We'll take casual family snapshots later. You know how this works. I did know. I'd been cropped out of photos for 3 years. Every Thanksgiving, every summer gathering, every celebration. If it was going on social media, I was conveniently absent. At family weddings, I was instructed to stand off to the side. At charity galas Mom dragged us to, I was told to arrive late and leave early to avoid the photographers. You're just not presentable right now, Mom had explained last Easter when she'd edited me out of the family brunch photos. Your hair is always messy, you dress like a graduate student, and your nails are constantly stained. I can't post pictures of you looking like that. People have expectations of the Haverford family. What they didn't know, what I'd never bothered to tell them, was that the paint under my nails came from the studio where I'd spent the last 4 years creating art that was quietly reshaping the contemporary art world. My messy hair was because I worked 16-hour days perfecting techniques that museums were starting to notice. My graduate student clothes were because I spent my money on materials, not status symbols. 3 months ago, my collection had been featured in a group show at the Guggenheim. 2 months ago, the Whitney acquired one of my pieces for their permanent collection. Last month, I'd signed with the most prestigious gallery in New York, the kind of representation that took most artists 20 years to achieve. But I'd learned years ago that my family wasn't interested in achievements they couldn't photograph for Instagram. Contemporary art didn't look impressive in selfies. Gallery shows didn't come with designer gift bags. Museum acquisitions didn't trend on social media. So I'd stopped mentioning it. Let them think I was still struggling, still figuring things out, still the disappointing Haverford who hadn't managed to monetize her existence into social media content. Maya, please, Mom said, her tone sharpening. We're trying to finish before the light changes. Just wait inside. I picked up my suitcase and walked toward the kitchen, past the photographer who wouldn't meet my eyes, past James who at least had the grace to look uncomfortable. The kitchen was empty except for the catering staff preparing Christmas Eve dinner. I sat at the breakfast bar and pulled out my phone, scrolling through messages from my gallery director. Confirmed. Vogue wants you for the February cover story. The New Voices Reshaping American Art. Photo shoot January 5th. They're sending a team. This is huge, Maya. I'd been sitting on this news for a week, unsure how to process it. Vogue. Not some niche art publication, but Vogue. The magazine my mother read religiously, the magazine Miranda quoted like scripture, the magazine that represented everything my family valued about image and presentation. And they wanted me. Not my Instagram perfect sisters. Not my carefully curated family. Me with my paint-stained hands and messy hair and complete disregard for their aesthetic standards. Through the kitchen window, I watched the photographer take shot after shot of my family arranged on the stairs. Mom checked each one on her phone, directing adjustments. Vanessa tilted her head just so. Miranda angled her engagement ring toward the camera. They were building their perfect image, one filtered photo at a time. The doorbell rang. I heard Mom's irritated voice. We're in the middle of a photo session. Whatever you're delivering can wait. Ma'am, I'm looking for Maya Haverford. I was told she'd be here. My stomach dropped. I walked to the foyer to find a man in his 30s wearing a black coat and carrying a professional camera bag. Behind him stood a woman with a tablet and an assistant hauling equipment cases. Maya Haverford? The man asked, spotting me. I'm Derek Chin, lead photographer for Vogue. This is Patricia, our style director, and Marcus, my assistant. I know we're not scheduled until January, but Anna wanted advance shots for the promotional campaign. We were told you'd be at your family's estate for the holidays. The foyer went silent. My mother's mouth opened but no sound came out. Vanessa's phone clattered against the marble floor. I'm sorry, Patricia said, glancing at her tablet. Did we catch you at a bad time? We can come back. Vogue. Mom finally found her voice. Why would Vogue be looking for Maya? Derek looked confused. For the February cover story. The New Voices Reshaping American Art? Maya's the featured artist. The whole issue is built around her work and influence on contemporary art. That's impossible, Vanessa said. Maya doesn't, she's not. She's one of the most important young artists in America right now, Patricia interrupted, her tone cooling. The Whitney acquisition, the Guggenheim show, the representation by Chin Gallery. Maya's work is extraordinary. The editorial team is thrilled to feature her. Mom looked at me like she'd never seen me before. Maya, what is she talking about? High art, I said quietly. The painting I've been doing for the past 4 years. The career you never asked about because it wasn't Instagram friendly. Derek was already unpacking equipment. We'd love to shoot some family portraits for the feature. Show the environment that shaped your artistic vision. The contrast between traditional elegance and contemporary creative rebellion. Very compelling narrative. Actually, I said, looking at my family frozen on the staircase in their perfect poses, I don't think my family wants to be in photos with me. They have a certain image to maintain. The words landed like stones. Mom's face flushed red. Miranda looked at the floor. Patricia's eyes narrowed with understanding. I see. Well, Maya, we have enough time before dinner service. Perhaps we could shoot in your childhood room? Something intimate, personal, showing where your artistic journey began. That would be perfect, I said, not breaking eye contact with my mother. For the next 2 hours, Vogue's team transformed my childhood bedroom into a photo studio. They shot me at my old desk where I'd sketched as a teenager, by the window where morning light had first taught me about color and shadow, surrounded by early paintings I'd left behind because my family had called them clutter. Derek was brilliant, capturing not just images but something deeper. The story of an artist who'd succeeded despite being invisible to the people who should have seen her first. Downstairs, I could hear my family's whispered panic. Vanessa's voice rising in frustration. Mom making desperate phone calls. They were finally Googling me, finally seeing the gallery features, the museum press releases, the art world coverage they'd never bothered to look for. The Whitney acquisition went for $250,000, I heard Miranda say. Maya sold a painting for $250,000 and never said anything? She tried. James's voice was quiet. Remember last Thanksgiving? She started to tell Mom about a show and Mom cut her off to take a selfie. When the shoot finished, Patricia clasped my hands. Maya, this is going to be stunning. The February issue hit stands January 15th. You're going to be on magazine covers in every grocery store, bookstore, and newsstand in America. Are you ready for that? I thought about my family downstairs, probably refreshing their Instagram feeds, trying to figure out how to spin this. How to claim credit for success they'd actively excluded themselves from. I'm ready, I said. Derek packed up his equipment. Your family seems surprised by all this. They've been cropping me out of photos for 3 years, I said simply. They told me I wasn't presentable enough for their social media image. Turns out I was just being presented to a different audience. Patricia's expression hardened. Well, they're about to see you presented to 20 million readers. I hope they're prepared for that. We walked downstairs together. My family stood in the foyer like defendants awaiting a verdict. Mom had changed clothes twice. I could see the discarded outfits on the stairs. Vanessa had her phone ready, clearly hoping for a photo opportunity with the Vogue team. "Thank you for your hospitality," Patricia said politely but coldly. "Maya will send the advance shots tomorrow. The full feature publishes in 6 weeks." "Will there be family photos in the feature?" Mom asked desperately. "Because we'd be happy to. The feature is about Maya's individual artistic vision and achievement," Patricia cut her off. "We have everything we need." After they left, the silence was suffocating. "Maya," Mom started, her voice trembling, "why didn't you tell us?" "I did tell you. You weren't listening. You were too busy building your Instagram aesthetic to notice I was building an actual career." "But Vogue, the Whitney, this is extraordinary." "It's not extraordinary to you," I interrupted. "It's just suddenly useful. Suddenly presentable. Suddenly worth including in the family image now that someone else validated it first." Vanessa stepped forward. "That's not fair. We didn't know. You didn't ask. There's a difference." I picked up my suitcase. "For 3 years, you've edited me out of your perfect family photos because I didn't fit your aesthetic. Because I was embarrassing. Not polished enough, not Instagram ready enough, not worthy of being associated with the Haverford brand. We were protecting you," Mom said weakly. "We thought. You thought I was failing. You thought I was the disappointing child who couldn't get her life together. So you hid me. Cropped me out. Made me wait in kitchens while you took your perfect pictures." I moved toward the door. "Well, in 6 weeks, my face is going to be on every newsstand in America. Vogue thinks I'm presentable enough. The Whitney thinks I'm valuable enough. The art world thinks I'm important enough." "Maya, please," Dad said. "Stay for Christmas. We can talk about this." "Talk about what?" "How you're suddenly interested in my life now that it's magazine-worthy. How you want me in photos now that I'm Vogue approved." I opened the door. "You made your choice about what kind of image you wanted. You just didn't expect anyone else would want a different one." "Where will you go?" James asked quietly. "Back to the city. My gallery is hosting a Christmas dinner for artists tomorrow. People who saw my value before it came with a Vogue cover. People who never made me wait in the kitchen." I walked out, leaving my picture-perfect family in their picture-perfect house with their picture-perfect Instagram aesthetic and absolutely nothing real to show for it. The Vogue issue hit stands on January 15th. My face, paint-smeared and powerful, stared out from magazine racks across America. The feature was 8 pages. My work, my story, my journey from invisible daughter to undeniable artist. My phone exploded. Gallery offers, museum inquiries, interview requests. But the messages from my family were the most desperate. Mom's Instagram post appeared 2 hours after the issue dropped. A throwback photo of teenage me at an easel, caption reading, "So proud of our talented Maya. We always knew she was destined for greatness. #Vogue artist #proudmom. The comments section destroyed her. Interesting how she's never in any of your recent family photos. Where was this pride when you cropped her out of Christmas posts? My friend works at Vogue. She said your daughter did the shoot alone because the family excluded her." Within 24 hours, Mom's carefully curated Instagram image collapsed. Followers called her out. Other posts were scrutinized. People found the gaps, the missing daughter, the pattern of exclusion. Her 50,000 followers started disappearing. Vanessa's lifestyle blog lost sponsorships. Brands didn't want to associate with a family that excluded their own daughter for not being presentable enough. Miranda's social circle started asking uncomfortable questions. Dad's country club membership was re-evaluated. They'd built their image on perfection and I'd exposed the rot underneath simply by being seen. The gallery dinner party was everything Christmas with my family wasn't. Authentic, warm, full of people who valued substance over surface. My director raised a glass. To Maya, who proved that real art doesn't need filters. My phone buzzed. Another message from Mom. "Please. We're sorry. We made a terrible mistake. Can we talk?" I deleted it and turned off my phone. Some images can't be edited. Some damage can't be cropped out. They'd spent years making me invisible because I didn't fit their aesthetic. Now the whole world could see me. And they were the ones who disappeared. 3 months later, the Museum of Modern Art invited me to curate a solo exhibition. The opening night was attended by art critics, collectors, and celebrities. My work filled the pristine white galleries. Large canvases that museums would preserve for generations. My family sent flowers to the gallery with a card. We should have been there from the beginning. We're sorry we weren't. I donated the flowers to a local hospital and threw away the card. That evening, a young artist approached me nervously. My family doesn't understand my work either, she whispered. I squeezed her hand. Then make them irrelevant. Create something so undeniable that the world sees you first. She did. And unlike my family, I was watching.